Hey friends, this is Whiskey and Whit. I'm Whitney, and in today's video, we are doing the second installment in my floral DIY series for this spring. The first one was lavender, and the second one is peonies. I'm so excited, so stay tuned. So I've got 10 different projects for you today, so let's just hop on in. The first one is this hand-drawn peony pillow, and you probably have seen all around, because it's very trendy for spring, these different kind of vintage or hand-drawn floral pillows and signs. So I'm going to show you how to get the look for much less. So I created this pillow with 2 of these canvas bags I recently found at Dollar Tree. You could use regular canvas fabric. You could use a lot of different things. I just had these and it was easy enough to make the pillow out of this. I cut the back off because it was blank for me to have a blank canvas, and then I made sure to get rid of any seams, and then I pressed out any wrinkles with my iron. Then I assembled my pillow with some hot glue. I glued all the way around the outside, and I put the 2 pieces that I wanted on the outside, I put those 2 sides facing each other. So essentially you're gluing it together inside out, and you'll see in just a second why. Leave just enough space so that you can flip it inside out. So now you've got your right sides on the outside. And then it's time to create your artwork. So you could use this process honestly with anything. You could do lettering, words, but I found this on Pinterest. I will link the blog where I got this hand-drawn image, and I just put a sheet of Arteza tracing paper, which I will link down below. I've used it for a few different projects and I really like it, to transfer it over to the pillow. This is a great alternative if you don't have a Cricut or a vinyl cutting machine. And then after everything was traced, I just took a piece of paper, put it inside the pillow, and I traced it with a fine tip Sharpie. And that is as simple as it is, so easy, and it looks like it was hand-drawn, but you guys know my secret that it wasn't. Then to stuff it, I just took some leftover stuffing I got from a cheap pillow at Walmart. You could use literally whatever you want. You could put it over an existing pillow. There's a ton of different options. And then I glued together the bottom piece. Just make sure to fold it in so you've got that seam as though it was like flipped around. And then when it was done, I decided that it was a little blah, so I wanted to add some tassels to the edges to match some pillows I have in my living room. So to make that tassel, I took 4 fingers, put some black yarn around it 35 times, and then took another piece and threaded it inside that loop. So as you see here, I'm tying one side of this looped circle that I have. So then once I triple knotted that, I took another small piece and wrapped it around the top of that chunk of yarn to create the top of my tassel. I wrapped it around about 3 times, and then I triple knotted that as well. With a little kid, I want to make sure stuff doesn't come untied. And then my last step was to take my scissors and trim the edges. You can just take the edge of your scissors, put it in those loops, and then cut it. So then that way you've created your tassel. If for some reason you've got some pieces that are mismatched in length, just go through and give it a little trim and your tassel will be good to go. I pulled the corner open a little bit just because I hot glued it, stuck in my little tassel string, and then glued it so they hung on the outside. I repeated that step for the other 3 corners, and voila! The tassels really give it a little something extra. It matches super well with my new pillows in my living room, and even with all the supplies, including that cheap pillow from Walmart, you can make this for under $5. Up next is this really cute wood lantern that you could use for so many different things. I recently attended a bridal shower for my really good friend, and the table centerpieces were a variation of this, and I thought I could probably create these with some canvases from Dollar Tree, so I tried it out. I got 4 8x10 canvases. You want to make sure they're the thick ones, so they've got these nice wood frames inside. Remove the staples from the back and then pull the wood piece out. I saved the canvas for a different project. I'll have to figure out what I'm going to do with that at a later date. After I went through and quickly sanded all of the 4 pieces that I got out of the canvases, then I took some stain. This is briar smoke. Now, you're probably falling over if you follow my channel because it's not dark walnut. I'm trying to branch out and try some different things. I do really like this stain. If you do get this, make sure that you stir it or shake it really well. It separates, and if you don't do that, you'll get a gross brown color, because originally I was about ready to pitch it, and then Alex was like, did you stir it? So yep, there's my moment for myself. So anyway, here's what they look like when they are all stained, and I really like this kind of gray brown color. I just took some Gorilla wood glue. You can get this at Walmart in the craft section. I think it was like $2 or $3, and some clamps. You could also hold it yourself, but I just added a little bit of wood glue and glued the edges together to create my lantern. The key here is just make sure that you have your edges that the staples were stuck in on the inside, so you have a really pretty finished outside edge. Now here's the fun part. It doesn't have to be a peony DIY. You can use a ton of different things. I think I might make some of these for my cousin's wedding shower with some lemons, because that's the theme. But for this video, we're doing peonies. So I grabbed some Walmart picks. All of these are 97¢. Actually, the white ones are Dollar Tree. And then after I added this eucalyptus wreath from the Target dollar spot, I added a couple Walmart peonies. I just popped them off the stem really easily. And then I glued 2 Dollar Tree peonies together to make it look a lot more full for each side. I just took one and just pushed it on the inside, and they match the Walmart ones a lot better. So here, I didn't end up gluing anything down because I wanted to be able to change this out. This would be great for the fall. I think this would also be great for winter and Christmas time. So this frame is really versatile. I also love that briar smoke color up against the bright pink peonies. If you've got a wedding coming up too, these are pretty easy to throw together and would make awesome centerpieces. You could also use wood filler to fill those holes if you want to. I just want that step. Now, getting back on that hand-drawn flower trend, I really wanted to make some sort of print because I saw something like this at Target for $45. So I took one of these Arteza little craft wood canvases, I believe is what they're called. I'll leave more information down below. But what I love is that you could either do a flush side or one with a border. So I'm going to use the border side. So I went through with that same briar smoke stain. You could also do this with just some 1x2s and some scrap wood if you have it, but I figured this was a really attainable way that you can make signs if you don't have power tools, because their signs are pretty affordable from Arteza. Then once the stain was dry, let it dry overnight, I went in with some painter's tape and just taped off the edges and painted the inside white. Then I cut out this image from Canva. I got it to the size of my piece of wood, and then I did the same trick I did with the pillow. So I just took some of that tracing paper, went through, traced the whole thing, and I'm doing it with a pen so I can see where I traced so I don't miss anything. So then here is everything that's transferred, and then to make it stand out a little bit more, I went through with that same fine point Sharpie and traced it. This is really like zen for me. So the tracing was super fun, and honestly, it didn't take that long, maybe 10 minutes to do the whole thing. What I also love about this is you could style it either way. So you could put it by some colorful florals for spring if that is your jam, or if you're more of a neutral person, this looks so gorgeous here with just these white candlesticks and some wood beads. So there's a lot of different ways that you can style that. But I really like creating things that match or can go together, so I did the same with this briar smoke stain, and I did it as well for this peonies setup, and all of the flowers in here are under 10 bucks. So I grabbed 3 of these crates from Dollar Tree, and I actually saw this on Do It on a Dime. She put the 3 of these together to do like a Kirkland's dupe around Christmas time, and I thought that would be a really pretty planter box for spring. So I decided to put the 3 of these together and then share with you some of my favorite tips to arrange faux florals. So first step, after everything is dry with the wood glue, I went through and stained everything with that same briar smoke. You could stain them beforehand, but I figured it saved me a couple sides that I didn't have to stain. Also, if you don't want that rustic look, you're gonna wanna make sure that you get the stain in those slats, but I liked that it was kind of mismatchy. It looked kind of rustic. So then the key to getting really nice floral arrangements with faux flowers, in my opinion, is using some sort of foam, because you can put the flowers where you want them, they will stay. You could like shake this after you do it and it's not gonna move. You can keep it from season to season. So I just cut it to size with my Arteza hobby knife, and then I grabbed some picks from Walmart. Now all of these are 97 cents to $1.47, so super affordable. I did 2 picks of the light pink, 1 pick of these purple ones I'm putting in there, and then a couple other ones that you'll see. So the key here is height. So as I'm going through, if I stick a flower in and I don't like where it's sitting, I just chop off the end a little bit with my miter shears. This has been the easiest way I've found to get my florals cut down in a timely manner. Don't use your scissors, you'll kill them. So once I filled in with the pink flowers, then I just took some boxwood. This is another 97-cent pick from Walmart, filled in some gaps. Then I took some of this hop clover, and if you have a piece that's too big, you can easily pull off the edges or the little extra sprouts and stick them in somewhere else. So I liked this that it gave it a little bit of height, but I didn't want too much in there, just because if you've got too much sticking out, then it looks not great either. So then once those hop clovers were in there, then I finished up with some lavender because that's my main theme for my spring. So I tied the peonies back to my spring decor with lavender. And like I said, all the flowers in here, you could do it for under $10 with those different picks. Cutting them apart really allows you to get the look that you're going for. And you also get something that looks more like an arrangement versus something that you just kind of took a pick and like put it in there. So here is where it's going to live on the shelf next to my other lavender decor. Spring is the time that I love to have wreaths out, so I've got a couple options for you in this video. The first one is with this nautical rope and a Dollar Tree wreath form. So I ended up grabbing 5 packs of this nautical rope. I was gonna wrap it just as is, but I didn't have enough. So to make it last a little bit longer, I took a 4-stranded piece of rope and made it into 2 pieces with 2 strands. Say that 3 times fast. But I ended up saving more than I would have used before. So I didn't get much lacking in the look of it, but it helped me make my purchase last a little bit longer. So all I'm doing here is taking one end, securing it with hot glue, and then wrapping it around to cover the entire wreath form. I've seen people do this with burlap too, so you know, however you want it to lay. If you want to get fancy and like weave it through the different pieces of the wreath form, have at it. This is just kind of the look I was going for. So once everything was on there, I decided to go neutral with the base here, and I'll show you how I'm going to be able to change it out for seasons here in the future. So I took some just Hobby Lobby black and white buffalo check, because you guys know me, it's like in my blood at this point. And then I cut out some peonies, these are the Walmart ones, and removed the little florals. I do this with all my faux florals, remove the little like faux greenery leaves because it just makes them look a little more high end. So I tucked in the peonies, and I was going to leave it like that, but I decided that I needed to add a little bit more oomph to it. So I decided to add some Walmart lamb's ear. These are $2 for 2 picks, so similar to the Dollar Tree prices. Once I got it where I wanted it, I went through and hooked the piece of peonies and lamb's ear together, but then I left the piece not glued to the wreath. And what I'm thinking is this wreath will be awesome as I go into summer. I can change it out. I could maybe put lemons on it. I could do fall. I could do winter. As you see as a theme as I go through this video, as much as I love peonies, I'm not going to have them out in the fall. So things that I can use for multiple seasons make it way more cost effective to make the DIY, and also it saves on storage space. So I'm loving this peonies look, but keep an eye out on my Instagram because I might switch it out later on. So if you are a candle lover or like decorating with candles and you want to add a little oomph to them, here is an easy way. So this one is from Dollar Tree. This is just a regular vanilla pillar candle. I also had a random one. I have no idea where this is from. It was just in my stash of decor. So I went through and measured how tall each of the candles were, so I knew how big my decal needed to be. To create this decal, it's really easy. It may seem a little intimidating, but all you need is some printer paper, some tissue paper, and some tape. So I'm cutting down a piece of white tissue paper. You want it to be white to be a little bit short of the printer paper. And basically you're just putting it onto the printer paper with tape so that it can be fed through your printer. So then once you do a little bit of experimenting, make sure you know which side needs to be up when it goes in to print the right way, but then you're just going to feed it into your printer and print it regularly. This is an old printer and it works just fine. It doesn't have to be laser jet. This is an inkjet printer, which is evident by a little bit of blue ink that was deposited on the peony. So once that's done, you're gonna wanna let your ink dry just 5 minutes probably so you don't smear it everywhere. But then once you do, I cut them out and then you're just interested in your tissue paper piece. You're gonna take some parchment paper, it doesn't matter what size, you just wanna make sure that you cover the entire candle, make sure your little decal is in the right spot, and then I like to use a hot pad just to protect my hand, and then I use this heat gun I've had for years from Michaels to create this, but you could use a hairdryer if it gets hot enough. Once you heat it up, like you're seeing here, it will start to get more vibrant in color, and basically what you're doing is you're melting the wax just enough that your tissue paper will stick to it. You might get a little bit of melting that you can see, but you can kind of chip that off later. I would start with less heat and less time and then increase if you need it to stick a little bit longer, because you could always add more time and heat. It's like cookies. Like once you burn them, like forget about it. So you just want to start, and you can always add time, but you can't take it away. Also, both of these designs are free files that I will have linked over on my blog, whiskeyandwhit.com, so be sure to check that out. You can get all of the files that are available that I'm using today, as well as the links to the ones that I didn't create. So I really love these types of candles. I've been making these for years. They make awesome, awesome gifts. We've done these for Mother's Day. We've put Finn's picture on them. You could do words, really whatever you can print with your printer, you can put on candles with the same technique. If you're looking to add a little bit of extra pizzazz to a vignette or a tiered tray area, but you don't need something else with words on it, here is a great idea. So I found this really pretty fabric at Walmart and I wasn't sure what to do with it. And then I had one of these signs left over from a recent DIY that was just this little square kind of coaster sign from Dollar Tree. Now you could honestly do this with whatever surface you want. You could put this on poster board, like the foam core. You could Mod Podge anything. But this fat quarter I saw in an end cap at Walmart. I had no plan for it. I just knew I really liked it. So I took the inside of my sign, trimmed the fabric to the size that I needed to cover it, gave it a generous coat of Mod Podge, and then I put down the image how I wanted it to sit on my sign, and then I wrapped my fabric around the back and continued to hook it down with Mod Podge. You can do the same technique with napkins, tissue paper. I've seen Dollar Tree come out with some really cute tissue paper for the spring, so you could cover it in whatever. And then I just took some hot glue and stuck the sign back together. It's a really cute way to add some extra texture, some depth to an area. And also I like the bright spring colors, but it's not too much and it's not too overwhelming. So here's another trend alert. These prints are everywhere. These floral/botanical prints, they go for a wide variety of amounts, and I wanted to show you how you can get that same look for super cheap. So this first one I am making with some Dollar Tree frames I had on hand, but you could get honestly frames anywhere. You could also do this with thrifted frames. You're just going to want to print out on your printer the prints, and these are another free printable I'll share, to the size of your frame. So that is key, because I airheaded out here and accidentally printed a 5x7 instead of a 4x6, even though it clearly says 4x6, but you know, maybe it was mom brain that day, who knows. Anyway, I was able to trim them down and get them to fit in these really pretty white frames. So this is a $2 DIY, and it honestly looks just as good as those botanical prints that you are seeing other places that are super duper expensive. I love free printables. I make mine in Canva. I have a tutorial on Canva linked down below. I have another one coming though, so if you've got questions on Canva, let me know down in the comments. I'll be sure to get those answered for you. Another thing you can do with printables is do the 8x10 route. These are gorgeous. These are another free printable that I designed in Canva. I will share with you guys. This is just printed on our home printer. I finally got the right ink so we don't have any faded, nasty messes. But these are awesome. They are just in $4 Walmart frames. If I can find them online, I'll link them down below. But they've got a ton of different options, and $4. They are gorgeous frames for that price. And this is a great way to add a little bit of artwork either to your wall or a little setup that is super easy. Also, Canva has a ton of different flowers, so you could customize it if you're not feeling the peonies print. And finally, I made a hoop wreath similar to this in my lavender video, and I got a ton of comments that you guys liked it, so I wanted to give you a peony option as well. So I'm taking 2 picks of eucalyptus that I got from Walmart, and I'm starting by taking some jute twine and just wrapping it around the outside of a 3D wreath form from Dollar Tree. There are a ton of different things that you can use for a wreath form like this, but I just happen to use one of the 4 pieces in the 3D wreath form. I'm just stacking them as I go and using jute twine because that gives me a little bit more control, and it also really gives kind of a earthy vibe. So then I cut out some more of both my Dollar Tree and my Walmart peonies, and for here I decided to use that same trick to make my peonies a lot thicker. So I just ended up taking 2 peonies and sticking the second one on the inside of the first. So you're essentially like just giving it more petals, and that really helped make it fuller. So I just took some hot glue and stuck it down in the center. And then here it's just kind of like go with your heart. Where do you see a hole? Where do you want colors? What works? So then I did a mixture of hot glue as well as some more jute twine to get all of my flowers on there, and then I just took a little bit of jute twine to create a hanger. This would be beautiful for a shower, for a wedding. I'm using this as just general decor in my house, but it honestly is so easy to put together. I will also link the lavender video down below so you can see some different variations, but whatever flower that you have for a party or wedding or what have you, you could easily make these hoop wreaths super duper cheap. Thank you so much for watching. As always, let me know down in the comments your favorite project. I love seeing what you guys love out of the videos. Obviously, it's hard for me to pick a favorite, but I love to see what you guys like because that helps inform future videos. Also, if you're new and you liked what you saw today, be sure to hit the subscribe button so you don't miss a future Whiskey and Whit video. I've got a ton of content coming your way. Thanks again for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye!